Now, this may be the fourth video I've done regarding the Endgame. The Avengers Endgame sucks, and it sucked. This is the fourth video. This is the fourth person out of maybe 4,000 more that thought the movie sucked. They give it a little praise and then they say, oh, well, it still sucked. And the time travel didn't make any sense, which I've said and I'm going to continue saying on this crusade on the Avengers game should have been better than Infinity War, at least 10 to 20 times better. Now watch this man gives his review. Now, if you're not going to go take my point on this that it sucked, you'll take the opinion of others, especially the Caucasian others. This is Marvel Theory, all right? I'm sure this guy right here, Avengers Endgame spoiler, Chris Stuckman, thought the same way. Now listen to this.
Hey guys, how's it going? Note to self, please pick the fluff out of your beer. And so I just saw Endgame, I just got home about an hour ago, and here's my quick review on it. So if you haven't seen the movie, don't watch this video if you don't want to be spoiled. If you don't care about spoilers, watch on. So, contrary to popular belief, I'm sure pretty much 99% of the world will love this movie. And while there were many moments in there where I was teary-eyed, and I was very ecstatic, and I was just excited. Overall, as a movie and what I feel they could have done with it, I wasn't too big of a fan. So, unfortunately, for me, it wasn't everything I was thinking that it was going to be. I've been a Marvel fan my whole life, not as much as Star Wars, but it's always been a big part of my upbringing. So that being said, I'm not here to hate on the films. I don't think the Russo brothers did a bad job or anything. They're very talented people, so don't get me wrong there. But
They didn't do a bad job, but the storylines were terrible. I believe if Stan was still alive, it would have been a little bit better. I believe they had to think of something quick because they didn't expect the man to die so fast and so soon. That's my take on it. Russo's didn't do a bad job, but the storylines weren't good at all. I did not like the characters, the way the characters were portrayed, especially the Hulk. I'm going to emphasize that. Especially when Loki just disappeared and then that was it.
I feel like, and here comes the spoiler, that when you have a movie that is going to be hyped up so much and has so much backstory, about 22 films and over 10 years of films and movies that are adding up to this one moment, when you use time travel, it just kind of undermines everything, especially Infinity War. So what they did in this film, they basically went and they took all the stones from different parts throughout all the other movies all of the other Marvel movies where the stones have been in place, or in that film, the current timeline, the characters went back in time, and as you know, if you saw it, they went back and they took all those stones. And then later on, when things got good again at the end of the movie, they went back to those same moments and put the stones back into the right spots, into the right hands, so that the timeline would be consistent with that other universe or whatever it is. So what I didn't like is the fact that when you go back in time, it's just an easy fix. I don't want to say it's lazy writing because the Russo brothers are obviously very talented, yada yada yada. I'm not here to dog them or anything like that. Cool.
I think it was lazy writing. I totally disagree with that. I think it was lazy writing. I think it was not just lazy writing, but quick writing, just on the fly. And I don't think they put enough emphasis in how the end game was supposed to make a follow-up better than the Infinity War. You understand? So just like I said earlier, I don't think they expected Stan Lathan to die so soon. So it just threw them off.
Mine, right? But I just feel like there could have been other things that could have been done. And so when you go back in time, you basically have these characters that the audience won't be able to connect with as much as these characters that we have been traveling through.
Sorry, Stan. I'm just going to say Stan. I think this was Stan Lee.
through this entire time with. So, like Thanos, we have gone through Thanos' trials and tribulations through Infinity War and before that. And we know the Thanos that we saw at the beginning of this film, which he dies. Funny enough, ironic. He died.
A CDT would be the go-to technical expert. It's a very challenging.
Died just like that. It's very, very easy. They go to the farm and they chop his arm off, they chop his head off, and that's it. Done. You see the shriveled kind of.
Which I did not understand that part neither. That part, it actually killed me. I was thinking that if they would have saw Thanos and they knew where he was at, it wouldn't be so easy for them to just go there and kill him just like that. I mean, I was thinking it was going to be such a fight, That right there would have been a battle. Thanos would have sensed they were coming, a battle. He would have had some of his army troops there, at least one or two or three. I was thinking that, there's going to be a little bit of battle there, and they were going to battle from right there, because that's how it started with Thanos when he had low key, and he just totally dismantled Thor and his, his whole family of gods. He was just, with the whole armor. He was just established his dominance right away. I thought he was just going to establish his dominance right there too, while he was where he was at in the wilderness. But it disappointed me the way, from right there, I was like, what the hell?
Weaker Thanos, and he shriveled because he tried to destroy the Infinity Stones with the Infinity Stone, with the gauntlet itself, and it took a toll on his body and his mind, I guess. So at the end of the day, I feel like the movie was very well executed with the characters. I feel like Iron Man's death was very beautiful. I feel like Captain America's end was very poetic and it was very touching. And Black Widow, I feel like she didn't need to die, but they made that choice. I felt like Hawkeye could have been a little more understandable. We don't really connect as much with Hawkeye as we do with Black Widow, because we've seen her a lot more in the movies. But he does have a family. She doesn't really have a family, so it makes for a nicer end scene, as he comes home to his kids that are now snapped back into existence. So for me, I wanted to see a lot more. I wanted to see them try to bring the stones back in some sort of way. I would have appreciated it more if they didn't write Thanos to have destroyed the stones. If they had maybe gone back to going back. I don't want to keep going back in time.
Right.
When I can't think of something, I think, okay, let's go back in time and fix some things. It's kind of an easy way out. But I feel like there could have been so much more that could have been done. They could have gone to the same reality. They could have continued with the same story,
right,
and gone to the farm, or Thanos would still have the stones,
right,
or he would possibly have snapped a few of them out of existence, but a couple of them would have been left, and they would have been able to do something with that, and maybe bring the stones back in some sort of way, or go to Vormir and try to figure out a way to talk to Red Skull and maybe bring the Soul Stone about again, or find some. Maybe when you take something away, you get something else. So if the stones are now out of existence, I feel like we could have gotten the characters that we know and love. We wouldn't have Fat Thor, who's like drunk, and I understand. He went through a hard time, and it obviously cracked him.
Another embarrassment. I mean, I can see for the first 5 minutes of the film, they showed that, and Hulk came in there, and I was actually looking for Hulk to fight one of the guys too, while he was when they discovered where Thor was at. But that's another thing. I didn't think it would go to another scene where Thor would be fat and he would be a little lazy, uninterested. He would sleep while they're talking. I'm like, okay, you know what? This is just too much. I mean, it just a lot of things they could have done. They could have actually went back to when he snapped. That would have been the best thing to do. Go back to when he snapped, when he was about to snap, or at the wilderness, when he so-called destroyed the glove, the Infinity Stone glove.
He's a different person now. But I feel like we could have gotten something a little bit different. We could have gone to the timeline that we are currently in and stayed in that realm, and we could have hopefully brought back the people. We could have maybe gone to the realm within the Soul Stone itself, which transports all those people to a different alternate universe, just as Spider-Man says in the film. That for 5 years, him and Strange were in this other world together. But and they could have done something with that, like they could have shown maybe there's a way to get out of there somehow. In the comics, Spider-Man ends up touching the Soul Stone, and out comes Adam Warlock. So it's like, could we maybe have gone that route? Get something like that, and that would have been something that we could have seen. Obviously we saw that at the end of Guardians of the Galaxy 2. So just to interject here because I have another thought. Another thing they could have done is that they could have gone with the original way the movie started, which was how they killed Thanos in the beginning, but then that could have just been a manipulation with the Reality Stone, and that means that Thanos would have still had the gauntlet on him and the stones, and he would have been using his almost full power. I feel like from Thanos' point of view, from what we know in Infinity War at least, not so much the comics, he's a little more merciful in the films, is that I don't think he would have destroyed the stones. And especially at the cost of his life, pretty much, as we saw, he was this kind of almost old dude that just didn't really look the same anymore. I feel like he would have known that the galaxy would be coming for him at this point, or at least half of the Avengers. And he would have used the gauntlet to protect himself, because knowing them, he would have...
There's something that just brings...
He would have known that they would eventually find out where he is, and if he doesn't have the stones anymore, then he would die. And I guess, you know what? He was probably okay with that. And as he said, he is the inevitable. I also thought how in the end it was very poetic and ironic how he just gets snapped out of existence. But does this mean he is now trapped in the Soul Stone? For me, one thing I really wanted to see was a Hulk redemption fight between him and Thanos, but we did...
Here we go. That's what... Now... I bet you, if I go to another channel, and this is the truth, if I go to another channel, like a Caucasian channel, or Caucasians, mostly white Caucasian males who love comics and DC and Marvel, they're 100%, very much infatuated with it, diehard fans, supporters. If I go to another, I bet you if I go to another spoiler of the Avengers Endgame, another person will talk about this. They will talk about the Hulk redemption fight of Thanos, which was so disappointing. I predict at least half of Avengers Marvel fans wanted to see that. Half wanted to see that, because that was that's when it was more explosive. Okay, the beginning with Loki, Thor, and Hulk. Right there was the dominance and the quality and the sheer entertainment, the intenseness, the sadness, the like, oh why, and the most fierceness of how when Hulk just got demolished, and we're like, damn, is he gonna? And in Infinity War, what we said? Is he gonna get revenge within the Infinity War? And then when it ended, we was like, okay, you know what? Hulk is gonna get a redemption match, a rematch in the Endgame. We was hoping for that. Half of the people, at least 2 to 3 million people were looking for that. Because when he just destroyed the Hulk, the first Thanos movie with Infinity War, we were like, damn. I was like, damn. So he's going to speak about this right now.
Professor Hulk, which was pretty cool. Definitely my favorite version of Bruce Banner. However,
not mine.
The real Hulk I wanted to see was, this Hulk right here, man. Like, which I still have to unbox. I wanted that Hulk to make an appearance. And I feel like when Natasha Black Widow died, I don't know, like, I was expecting Bruce Banner to go absolutely mental and, have the Hulk take over completely, but he didn't. And it was just, there was just a lot of things in there that I wanted to see, and I guess I didn't. But that's not to say that it wasn't a great movie. It was a great movie. I would definitely see it again. It was awesome. But there were a lot of things that I was like, really, man, time travel? Like, we're gonna do the easy thing like that? Like, I don't want to see that. It was kind of almost like a rehash of Infinity.
I'm gonna stop this right here, and then I'm gonna give my inputs too. Not too much, but I'm gonna give my inputs. If you don't want to hear it, you know what to do. Now, that's a good point that he just made. A great point he made. Now, Black Widow passing, that should have right there could have had the whole click into. I didn't want him to go back to the Rogue Hulk. I wanted him to stay Hulk, but you know, I was thinking he was going to be intelligent Hulk, but then knew how to turn on Hulk and fight Thanos. I was actually looking for him to fight Thanos when Iron Man, Captain America, and Thor were. I was looking for him to just come out and fight and just hit Thanos. But the Russo brothers, again, and their writers, to me, they made too many mistakes. I think this was quickly written, and I think they were just doing this on the fly because Stan just did passed away and they didn't expect it. So, like I said, Endgame sucked. Part 4.